I've heard that it was warm while I was gone, and that is a international crisis. Mm-hmm.
Oh, from your lips to somebody's ear, because that's exactly right. That's exactly right. It is a climate emergency. And while the president hasn't declared it yet, we all feel it's coming. You know what I mean? It's kind of like climate's not in a transition. The economy is in a transition, but the climate is in an emergency.
Right. This is not a transitory warming of the planet, as we may have heard about inflation. This one will stay here forever. I heard this morning, these temperatures are going to last at least until the end of the century, which surprised me. I honestly had predicted a winter coming soon, but no, they're going to last until the end of the century.
No. Now, Stu, I got to give you an update on some of these things that we're trying to do to curb the emergency. First of all, we're all using way too much water, and water belongs to the state, not to us. California has just sent out a letter, the notice of groundwater extraction reporting that is now required under the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act. So, people in California, if you have a well, you're getting a letter that says this notice is to inform you that the State Water Resources Control Board believes you own property or properties not covered by the Management Authority of Groundwater Sustainability Agency, as required under the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act. The State Water Board considers areas within a high priority or medium priority groundwater basin that are not within the jurisdiction of GSA to be unmanaged under SGMA. So, here's what you have to do. If you're pumping groundwater within unmanaged areas, this notice is intended to provide you with early notification so you can take appropriate steps necessary to meet your reporting responsibilities. Now, I love reporting responsibilities. I think everybody does, especially when you've bought a piece of property and you have a well, that's your well, that's the water you pump up. And I love the reporting responsibilities, but it goes further than just reporting. This apparently has a base filing fee. When you find out what are my responsibilities? I love this. I want to be a responsible citizen in California. And they're like, well, you have to pay a filing fee of $300 per well. I mean, we already have your name. We already know you have a well because that's why we wrote to you and told you. But you need to tell us you have a well, and that's going to cost you $300. And then you also have an additional fee of $10 per acre foot with a meter, and $25 per acre foot without a meter. And if you're tardy, you will get a late fee of 25% per month. So,
this is what could possibly go wrong here. I was at a. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was at a restaurant over vacation. And if you ask my scale, I went to several, but one in particular showed the intersection of all of the green stuff with all of the COVID stuff, and it was this lengthy dissertation on how to wash your hands. And it started with because they wanted you to do two things. Wash your hands to this ridiculous extent of COVID where they want you to do it for like 10 minutes. And then also save water. So it was like, turn the water on, wet your hands, turn the water off, go get soap, wash your hands together for 20 seconds, turn the water back on, rinse your hands, turn the water back off, shake your hands dry because you don't want to use too many towels or have the power dryer on for too long. And it went on and on. It was like legitimately 14 steps on how to wash your hands in this period where we're supposed to spend almost all of our time washing our hands, but none of our time with the water on?
Well, I can't remember. Sarah, can you remember? Because Barack knew something in around 2008 that I just didn't know.
We are going to have to make sacrifices. We're going to have to change our conversation.
Okay.
We're going to have to change our traditions, our history.
Yeah.
We're going to have to move into a different place.
Yeah. And I think we're in a different place where it's a 14-step process to wash your freaking hands. By the way, back to the water thing, the State Water Resources Control Board, I'm not sure how they have the right for eminent domain, because that's what's happening. You own your water. They are now saying the state owns the water, and the next step is rainwater. That's what's happening in Colorado. They just need to make some more money, so you can't just scoop up all that rainwater because the state owns that rainwater. Now, I'm pretty sure God owns that rainwater, and it rains equally on everybody, so if you want to save it, you can save it. If not, let the flowers grow. By the way, the other really great thing about this is when you look at this, it says that Californians have to report this themselves, and you have to start paying a fee for the water that is being pumped starting February 2023. And what I think is really great about this is the government wrote the letter, but they don't provide any service, at least for free. I mean, you have to pay the $300 to let them know that, yes, their letter was right, you have water. But then they don't support it. There is no product. They don't even do the billing. That's you. Okay? So they don't provide the water. It's already there. They don't even bill you for the water. You have to. So I think this is going to go over big. But that's to protect the planet, as is this. The federal government of Canada is looking to impose a requirement to reduce nitrous oxide emissions from fertilizers because it's a greenhouse gas that is contributing to climate change. Now, the Trudeau government says they want a 30% reduction in emissions from farms, not the fertilizer. Farm producers groups say at this point reducing nitrous oxide emissions can't be done without reducing the fertilizer use. But they're saying we just need a 30%. Just 30% cut, so just cut it someplace. And they're like, well, we don't use nitrous oxide in anything but fertilizer. Several provincial governments in Canada now and organizations representing farmers have asked for emission reductions from fertilizer to be measured via intensity, meaning how much food is being produced in comparison to the amount of fertilizer used. And Trudeau has said, that sounds totally that's what I said. That's totally reasonable. They are demanding an absolute reduction in emissions. Farmers are telling the government now in Canada that that's going to result in a lot less food being produced. And we're kind of on the edge with that right now. Oh, and that reminds me, net zero is breaking the energy market in Australia. I guess they're having gas prices. Is the Putin gas hike there too? Must be. My gosh, it's everywhere. Anyway, the energy market is tubing in Australia there as well because the government is basically threatening people with ESG, and the net zero thing is really working out well for them. The literal doubling of electricity prices is happening in Australia now. So they've just doubled the price of electricity, and it's just for customers, in small towns or small electricity retailers, But they say that net zero by 2050 will require 100 and $20 trillion in Australian money. But remember, that's Australian money, so those numbers always seem crazy. That's just 86.25 trillion in the U.S. dollar. So it's
Huge
much
bargain.
more reasonable. Yeah. And that's just equivalent. To $369,000 for a household of four, and an annual cost of $13,200 per person, but just over the next 28 years. And so once we pay that,
that won't increase, that won't make things better, right? Like, this isn't something that's going to get us a lot more electricity and all this innovation. That's just going to continue what we currently have, but with new green energy options, right?
Well, no, we're shutting everything else down.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I can't say we're shutting everything. The West is shutting everything down. I mean, for instance, Australia has to, cut their carbon emissions, and they can't. They're just not going to be doing it in the coal fire plants. Well, they are going to be doing coal fire plants, but it won't be Australian emissions. China has 57 coal fire stations for every single one in Australia, and Australia is providing them with some of that coal, and so they're just shipping it off to someplace else, which is good, because that's the way, the air stays in China. The Chinese air, it stays right there. It never moves.
If we've learned any lesson over the past couple of years, anything in the air in China stays in China. That's the lesson that we've taken from this since
exactly
2020.
Right.